Welcome back to the Morristown Market Report. I'm Amy Schrader with Remax Real Estate 10.
And I'm Kim Swan with Union Home Mortgage.
Our special guest today is Crystal Williams, and Crystal is a financial coach. So my first question is, what is the difference between a financial coach and a financial planner?
Sure. So as a financial coach, I do not sell any investments or insurance. So if you're looking for a financial planner or financial advisor, you would go to them to buy insurance policies, investments. I help you with your day-to-day finances, help you learn how to manage your finances better and reach your goals, get you to the point where you need a financial advisor or can maximize your investment potential.
All right, so what inspired you to become a financial coach?
I have always loved personal finance. I've been a nerd since I was a teenager, had a budget when I was a teenager, and I've always loved helping people with their finances. So when I was in my early 20s, I really wanted to help people in this way, but I didn't know how to do that at that time. So now here we are, mid-40s. I don't want to say that. And
You might as well, you're the youngest
I know,
one here.
right, mid-40s, and decided that I really want to help people in this way. So I get the chance to do that now.
Good deal. So what are some of the common financial challenges that people face, and how do you help them overcome those?
So most of the people that I work with have debt to some degree, right? They have debt to some degree. That's just normal in our culture. They want to get out of debt. The debt is usually causing them some level of stress. So I see that a lot with people. A lot of people have a really good income. They don't know where it's going. I mean, I hear that comment from people
I can
all
tell you
the
where
time.
it's going. Them $7 Starbucks talks. That's where it's going. Think about that. That's over
We've got a lot of coffee
$200 a
shops.
month.
Here we're getting another one.
Yes. So they don't know where their money's going. That's the biggest complaint I hear from people. People will get a pay increase, and like, it doesn't feel like we got a pay increase. Like, what happened to it? So they don't know where their money's going. They have debt that's causing them some level of stress, and they're not prepared for emergencies. So, you have a car repair, home repair, something comes up, they don't have money in savings, so they pull out the credit card. And then they think they can pay it off within a few months, but then something else comes up. And it's just an endless cycle. So I help people break that cycle.
Good deal. Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying about that, because we see that, like, you talk to people about trying to buy a house, and, they're complaining about putting $500 earnest money down or having to pay $350 for a home inspection.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if you don't have $1,000 to be able to start buying a house, how do you think you're going to afford to live in one?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I've been there, like paycheck to
Mm-hmm.
paycheck, been there, done that, and you have to budget.
Absolutely.
So, what are one of the things that you tell people if they're having trouble? Like, if they've never budgeted, do you make them write everything down that they're spending? Kind of like you do when you go on a diet, they tell you write everything down that you're eating.
We do create a plan for your money that includes tracking where your money's going. Because if you're not tracking it, you don't know. I mean, you can create a plan. You can put it on a spreadsheet, say you're going to live by it. But if you're not tracking it, you don't know if it's working or not. You don't know if you're actually following it. And I've been guilty of that. That used to be how I budgeted. But that's really not a budget. That's just a list of bills.
Yeah.
With due dates, that's all that really is. So we do implement, we use technology, we implement budgeting and tracking. I don't even really like the word budgeting, Amy, because it's got such a negative connotation.
I don't know how budgeting can be negative like that.
Some people hate
That
it,
is
though.
a basic skill that you have to have
It
as
is.
an adult.
But I tell people we're going to create a spending plan. We're going to create a plan for how you're going to spend your money. So it's different.
Okay.
But some people have been told their whole life, like, that's not in the budget, or they grew up hearing that's not in the budget, and they hear the word budget and they're instantly turned off. And I know.
My mom was a banker. Like, we learned all about
You learned all
budgeting
about it.
and
Most
stuff,
people
so.
don't, though, Amy. Most people don't learn about.
Well, I didn't
know
say I
that.
took it in
Yeah.
well, but I was taught that. It took me a few years to implement it as well.
Yeah, but most people don't learn. Either their families talk about money in a negative way, or they don't talk about it at all. So we put people out in the world and expect them to know how to manage money well, and they don't have a clue.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Totally. I've said before that I think, basic finances needs to be a class
Oh, definitely.
in high school that people have to take. But do you think that like the paperless society that we live in has contributed to people not being able to track their money? Because it's a lot harder to give somebody $500 cash for something than it is to just swipe that little debit card.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference psychologically in using cash and using a debit card or a credit card. Credit card, we know it does not register as your money. Even worse is like Apple Pay. You just wave your phone and you pay for things. Like there's no connection there that you actually just spent money. So yeah, to some degree, there it is, and that's one of the areas I work with people on. I don't tell people you need to pay cash for everything by any means. That's just not real today in our society. But if there's categories, physical cash, okay. But if there are categories where we know you're going to overspend, then that's a good category to use cash for. And for a lot of people, that's restaurants.
See, when I was trying to learn how to budget, that was what I did. Was I just went to a total cash pay system. And it's inconvenient because like when you go to pay your electric bill, your water bill, but it physically makes you think so much harder.
It does.
About what you're spending your money on. So
right. It's a little more time consuming.
So how do you assist people in managing and reducing their debt?
So the first thing we're going to do in coaching is figure out where your money is going. And we're going to get clear on what your financial priorities are. For some people, that's reducing debt. For others, it's just they want to save or they want to invest more. And the debt it's not stopping them from doing anything they want to do right now. So, but if the goal is to pay off debt, then we first figure out where the money's going, okay? And then from there, we can make adjustments. So within the first 30 days of tracking expenses, we know what your spending habits already are. Then we work on where to improve them. So again, most people are overspending on restaurants, right? So they usually get to the end of that 30 days and they look at that number and they're like, oh my goodness, now I know where all my money's going.
Especially now because eating out, the cost has just went through the roof.
Oh yeah, and grocery expenses are just crazy. It's all crazy.
So what do they do? Just starve?
No, we
you can't buy groceries and you can't go out to eat.
So we make a plan, Amy. We make a plan around all of that that's based on your real life and what you can actually do. Okay. And so that's another thing. Like your spending plan or budget should be reflective of your real life. Okay. You don't say you're going to spend $0 on restaurants when you know that's unreasonable, unrealistic in your life. So it needs to reflect. Yeah, it needs to reflect your real life and your priorities, and we get clear again on what those priorities are. For some people, the priorities are not, like I said, it's not paying off debt. It's I want to figure out how to cash flow tuition for my kids' college. Right, that's a huge expense. So or private school. We work those things out, and we make sure that your money's going where it's most important for you.
Okay. All right. So, do most people have a plan? Like, are they able to identify to you what their financial plan is? Like, if they want to save money for that, or is that something that like you have to walk them through a series of questions?
Yeah. So most people that come to me, they've got this long list of things they want to do. They just can't figure out how to do it. Like, I want to buy a house. I want to start a family. I want to change jobs. I want to start a business, and they just don't know how to do it. So we walk through that together and create a plan. And it takes time. It's not something we can do in one session or 3 sessions. I tell people, this is a process. It's not an event. It's going to take us, we'll work together as long as it takes to get you where you want to go. That's how it works.
Okay. So in your experience, what are some ways that people can improve their financial literacy and just get a better understanding of their own personal finances?
So if they want to educate themselves and they don't need one-on-one help, then books, there's all kinds of books and podcasts. Those are, start online if you want to start learning about how to manage money. Go to YouTube. That's always a good option to look and learn. But if you start looking into those things and you can't actually implement it yourself, that's where I come in and I help you implement it.
Okay. So what's one thing about being a financial coach that we need to know about you that you've not already shared with us?
Oh my goodness, let's think about that. So as a financial coach, I am, again, not selling you products, right? I have your best interest at heart and guide you through the process of changing your finances every step of the way. I meet with people virtually. I don't hold in-person meetings any longer. I do everything virtually, and I serve people all over the country. So we're not limited by location by any means. If something comes up and you need a financial advisor or a realtor or a mortgage broker, I'm the person that can refer you to someone that can help you. Find people that I know and trust.
All right, so the last question is not related to your job.
Oh my.
This is the question we ask everybody that comes on here. If you could go back in time and give your 20-year-old self one piece of advice, what would that be? Invest
early. Always find a way to invest money. Always find a way. Time is your friend when you're young. Time is your friend.
That is very true. So what kind of investments would you have done if you?
I would have never stopped investing. Like I would have always contributed to a 401k through work, if it was available, or sought out a financial advisor and invested, even if it's just a little bit. Over time it adds up.
All right, good deal.
Real estate's always a good investment too.
That's right. That's right. Real estate is the best investment. All right, so this was Crystal Williams. She is a financial coach. How do people get in touch with you if they want to learn more?
Sure. The name of my business is Smart Money Financial Coaching. You can find me at smartmoneyfinancialcoaching.com or on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn at Smart Money Coaching. I do offer a complimentary consultation to see if coaching is a good fit for you. So you can schedule that on my website, or you can reach out to me on social media.
All right.
I do follow you on Instagram and LinkedIn. She provides a lot of good information, just articles and stuff that's pretty interesting. So thank you.
Good deal. All right, so we're going to do our market report now. Do you want to stick around, or do you want to
I will head out. Good luck, ladies.
All right. Thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you,
on. We do
Crystal.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, Kim, what can you tell me about mortgage rates?
I can tell you they're still sixes, upper sixes for some, and THJ still 6% even. We haven't talked in a while about we still offer the 2-1 buy down. So you can it's something people are wanting to do more of. Is basically it buys the interest rate down 2% for year 1, 1% for year 2, and then at the third year it would go back to the normal market or the note rate. And a lot of people are looking at that in hopes that by a 3-year time span we may have see some lower rates and they can refi.
So if someone were to do the 2-1 buy down, and let's say they close end of this month and they've done a 2-1 buy down, and then in November, December, rates come down to 5%. Can they refinance at that time to take advantage of a lower rate permanently?
Yes.
Or are they stuck in that program
They sure
for a while?
can, and what's great about it is the 2-1 buy down has to be paid by the seller, so it's like seller paid closing costs. And the money that we take that from the seller and it's put into a savings account to help buy that rate down for that 2-year time frame. So if they were to refi or sell in that 2 years, that's their money. So it would just go towards the mortgage and pay the mortgage, go down towards the mortgage payoff. So it's not like they lose that money.
So it's not like they could use that to apply towards their closing cost. It would just lower the amount of their payoff.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, and that's important when you're negotiating on a contract.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got if you're not thrilled with the rate that you're getting quoted, rather than ask the seller to pay towards your closing cost and prepaid expenses, be specific and ask for the money to pay for that 2-1 rate buy down, because overall you're going to save more money over those first 2 years than you would if that seller contributed towards your closing cost. So that's something that we try to talk to people about, and it just depends on their circumstances as to whether or not they have the money to cover closing costs.
Right.
But what are the most common types of mortgage applications you're getting right now? Is it government loan or conventional?
Actually, I've gotten 2 or 3 this week, and they're all conventional.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Conventional. Just talked to a lady about a THDA and just took a USDA application a few minutes ago. So it's kind of a broad spectrum. They're all types of loans right now.
Okay. Well, I know that, like, when I did my market update on Monday, it didn't seem like we'd had a ton of new listings that had come on, like, in Hamlin County over the past week. But I'm seeing a lot more that have come on this week.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a lot of houses have come on the market this week in Hamlin and Jefferson County, which is good because increased inventory definitely helps.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of buyers out there that can't find a house. So,
Exactly.
you know, I think our biggest need right now is affordable housing, and trying to figure out a way to bring more affordable housing into the area. So, I don't know of any developers that are wanting to do that, though.
No, I'm not either.
All right. So anything else coming up in the mortgage world that we need to know about?
Not right now. Just like I said, that buy down is great, you know, because if your market rate is 6.5%, that means for year one you're going to get 4.5%. So that's about like the last couple of years. So it's pretty good.
So if somebody is borrowing like $250,000, how much of a difference does that 2% make on their payment?
I mean, it can
Am I putting you on your spot?
You're definitely putting me on the spot, but that's okay. So, yeah, we'll see. No.
Yeah, wheels are turning. Smoke's coming out of our
yeah,
ears.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could, be over $100 a month or more. Like I said, it just depends too on what type of loan and, like I said, the exact loan size. But big savings.
Good deal.
So, definitely.
All right. Well, if you have a local business that you would like to have highlighted on our weekly Facebook interview.
We need some restaurants.
Yeah, we do. We need some
there.
restaurants that want to, like give us some samples or something. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But if you do have a local business and you'd like to be on here, we would love to have you. We can come out on location if you are in the Hamlin County area. So either send me a DM or leave a comment. We'll get in touch and we'll get you on our schedule. We'll see you next Wednesday.